Hello. Welcome to another episode of the GSM Wrestling Laureate podcast presented by the GSMC Sports Network. Hope you guys had an amazing, midweek so far. We're already on Thursday. I can't believe tomorrow's already Friday. Those who work 9 to 5 jobs and who have the weekends off, get ready, get pumped up for tomorrow. Definitely wish I was one of those guys. No, I'm just kidding. No, I love where I work. It's pretty cool. When I'm not kicking ass on podcasting, talking about wrestling, I cook a little bit. I cook a little bit for a senior living facility in Temecula, California. It's beautiful. Meet a lot of cool people. You kind of become part of their family, and it's just I don't know. Working with food it's pretty cool. It's like therapeutic, I guess you can say in a way. So, definitely. Thank you for tuning in to the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. We have a great show for you today lined up. We have our AEW Dynamite review. We have our Thursday Night Wrestling preview. We're going to talk about Ring of Honor, Impact Wrestling. We're also going to dig into a little bit of NWA's, Powerr. We're going to, talk about the results of that. And, Segment 3, we're going to talk about Jim Ross being admitted to the hospital. Sad, super sad. Love Jim Ross. Definitely one of the biggest reasons why I'm a huge wrestling fan. So, we're also going to talk about Logan Paul for our fourth segment, how he has reached officially 200 days as the WWE United States Champion. So that's something to be proud of. I feel like Logan Paul is he's a huge star. I feel like he should probably get a lot more, definitely a lot more recognition than what he gets, as of right now. And to kind of cap it all off, our final segment on a Thursday, we have our Thursday Superstar Spotlight talking about the Olympic gold medalist Kurt Angle. So make sure you stay around, just for that. It's gonna be pretty cool. But just to remind you guys once again, we get a number of questions that come in from viewers like you during the show. So to ensure that your question gets read on air, I ask you guys to use the tips and donations link at the gsmcpodcast.net with your questions. Just put your questions up on top so I can see it. Tell me what you like. Tell me what you don't like. Tell me what you want to talk about in terms of wrestling storylines, promos, and what have nots, and et cetera, et cetera. I don't know if that was the right terminology, but yeah, just let me know how you feel. Give me a shout out. Be like, hey yo, E, this is yada 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 from Wichita, Kansas, or from Bismarck, North Dakota, or something like that. Like, just something like that. Don't be too shy. Don't be too shy, because the podcast is a hell of a lot better when there is audience interactions. I love to know that you guys are part of the show, so it's not more or less my show. It's exactly our show. So definitely. So once again, it really does help the show, guys. Leave a positive review here at the GSMC Sports Network. We love peace, love, and positivity all the way, 1010%. And again, the link is at gsmcpodcast.net. So let's go ahead and dig on into our first segment, which is AEW Dynamite Review. All in all, the final Dynamite before Double or Nothing on Sunday, I feel like it was good. I feel like it was perfect, exactly what they needed. We kind of talked about it on yesterday about what should superstars kind of do on last night's AEW, and I actually hit a couple of them on the head. So if you want to check out that podcast, be like, oh, Eric's a genius. I'm just gonna go. No, I'm not. I'm not a self glazer. If that's what you're trying to hint at. I'm a fair guy. I'm as humble as can be. Humble as apple pie, baby. Humble as apple pie. Apple pie's a little masculine. What's humble pie? What's your favorite pie? Hit it up in the tips and donations link. Hit me a chat at the GSMC podcast.net. But anyways, enough talking about pie. Totally getting hungry here. It's about time for dessert. Like I said, let's talk about AEW Dynamite. So Orange Cassidy and Will Ospreay teamed up against Trent Beretta and Roderick Strong. And guys, a lot of times on this podcast, I kind of throw shade because the way Will Ospreay kind of talked about Triple H, because Triple H was my guy, definitely on my Mount Rushmore of the best wrestlers in the business. But I can be honest, I'm totally impressed by Will Ospreay. Really paid attention to this match. I sat my ass down. I was like, you know what? Let's watch AEW Dynamite. Not like I don't always watch Dynamite, but this time I actually, paid attention to the match more or less, more thoroughly, more, detectively. And I gotta be honest, I love Will Ospreay. I think he's an amazing wrestler. Honest to God, I think he's definitely gonna have a future with AEW in the professional wrestling industry. There's no doubt in my mind he's going to be an AEW World Heavyweight Champion. So, to be honest, I gotta be honest with my viewers, guys. I was, if I ever threw any shade or if it seemed like I was talking about Will Ospreay in like a negative, connotation, just know that I apologize. So we have Roderick Strong. I don't know. I don't think he's really in trouble because he does have the insurance policy of the Undisputed Kingdom. Obviously, that paid dividends tonight, where you had Orange Cassidy and Will Ospreay building on momentum. They had the pin, but then Beretta was able to push Will Ospreay and break up the count. And then out came, the Undisputed Kingdom, and then out came Wardlow, and Wardlow just he took out Osprey. Definitely, was a huge reason why Roderick Strong picked up that tag team victory tonight with Trent Beretta. So, definitely got to give him the, with the assists. You know what I mean? So yeah, and then you saw at the end of the match, Undisputed Kingdom absolutely kicking, kicking Will Ospreay's butt, making him bleed, busting him open, sending him a message that he will not win Roderick Strong's AEW International Championship at Double or Nothing Sunday in Las Vegas, Nevada. So definitely a huge message was sent, received, and honestly, I'm rooting for Will Ospreay. So should be pretty cool. Next, we have the a promo. You saw the Elites officially barring Darby Allin from the arena. They're in Bakersfield. They were in Bakersfield last night. And then next, you saw the Bang Bang Gang, the Unified Trio champion, come out and they basically talk crap. They came out hitting total total promo heel victory, kind of, filling that void that everybody needs. Like when they wake up in the morning, like, man, I need something to be pissed off at today. It's the Bang Bang Gang. It's Switchblade Jay White and his two goons. So I think it's perfect the way that they're kind of promoting right then, the way they're kind of booking them and the way that they're just promoting. I think it's I think it's pretty good. They have the success. They're the Unified World Trios Championship, which is the Ring of Honor six-man championship, and I don't see their reign really going anywhere just yet. But they were talking crap on the Bastard Pat, and the Bastard Pat obviously had to retaliate, of course. So then he came out. He introduced his teammates. We have the Death Triangle making their way back into AEW and, basically ran the Bang Bang Niner gang out of the ring and ultimately, like, out of the arena, so to speak. So, yeah, they also challenged them for a match heading toward Double or Nothing. Still kind of waiting. I know there was, kind of showed the type, it showed the promo and it showed like the graphic that they were going to fight. But ultimately, then the Bang Bang Niner Gang wants Pac and the Death Triangle to prove that they can challenge for the the Unified Trios Championships because that's it's a pretty important title. It's a huge accomplishment. You can't just like walk into somewhere and be like, hey, like I challenge you, Yamu. I'm just kidding. No, I watched a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh growing up. Yes, I'm a dork, and yes, I love it. All right, moving on. So next you saw the FTW number one contenders match. This was a good match overall. You saw the Learning Tree come out with Big Bill to commentate on the match. Brian Keith, Hook, and Katsuyori Shibata all put on a pretty good match, but it ultimately kind of ended up like a little, kind of a little strange because on Tuesday WWE NXT kind of had a double pin, which created like a triple threat match heading toward Battleground with Obafemi. And now you kind of have the double tap out. Hook, hit the red rum, and Shibata had his submission move on poor Brian Keith. Man, he got the worst of that. I'll tell you who's not going to Double or Nothing. Brian Keith. So I'm just kidding. I was messed up. But anyways, so now we have a triple threat match. We have the Learning Tree, Chris Jericho against Shibata against Hook at Double or Nothing for the FTW Championship. So it should be pretty interesting. Next, we see Katsuke Takashita with Don Callis against Matt Sydal. This was ultimately kind of like a squash match for Takashita. It helped him build momentum to fight at Double or Nothing against John Moxley for the IWPG Championship. But Moxley came out and he tried helping Matt. He tried helping Matt Sydal after the match. Takashita wanted to beat the hell out of him, sending a message to John Moxley. Didn't have to send it too far because right around the corner in the backstage, out came the Wild Thing. Through the crowd, where is he coming from? Where is he coming from? He could be coming from anywhere. Just know when you hear that music, when you see the side of him jumping between those ropes, you just know that business is about to pick up. So absolutely love John Moxley, 1010%. He said, and I quote, "I'll see you at Double or Nothing, a man of few words, a man that just lets all his wrestling, fighting, and actions speak for him." That's probably one of the huge reasons why I love John Moxley. That's the reason why I really loved Dean Ambrose, of the Shield when he was in WWE. So that, definitely pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. Next, you saw Swerve Strickland, the AEW World Heavyweight Championship, trying to build momentum against Nick Wayne. These guys have had a lot of, kind of beef in the past, but ultimately, I think Swerve controlled this match pretty well. After the match, when you saw Swerve Strickland pick up the victory, Nick Wayne, he did put up quite a, he did have a couple of, he did have a couple of hiccups that ultimately cost him the match, but he's talented. He's talented. He was able to hold his own against the AEW World Champion. So, you got to respect that. Definitely think that, Wayne has a future in AEW. Perhaps, maybe you should, fight for the Ring of Honor Television Championship. That'd be pretty dope. You know what I mean? Or go to the, maybe try fighting the FTW. Like, you don't know what's next for him. I feel like, I don't know. A lot of respect under that name. So then you saw at the end of the match, Kill Switch and the Patriarchy attacks Swerve Strickland, and I thought to myself once again, I was like, okay, great. Here comes another promo where Swerve just absolutely gets his ass kicked, and you have the fans just feeling sorry for him. But on my last podcast, I talked about the importance of Swerve Strickland needing to cut a good promo, needing to kind of stick up for himself, and kind of showing a side of brutality, kind of like what Christian Cage has done this whole entire promo. He's been absolutely ruthless. He's been bringing up his family and past accomplishments and his daughter. Like, just he brought a gun to a knife fight, man. Like, he came out guns blazing, shots shots fired, yo. So it was time for Christian Cage to get his. Sir Strickland followed him out in the parking lot and, DDT'd him on top of the white Suburban. Wanted to hit that concerto, didn't have the chance to, kind of was rooting that he would. And I know that sounds bad, Jesus, please forgive me. But Christian Cage, he deserves it. He deserves his just desserts. So yeah. Next we have Malachi Black. Malachi Black against Kyle O'Reilly. This was a really good match. I feel for O'Reilly going out there helping out his fellow Canadian wrestling superstar in Adam Copeland. Malachi Black just looks dangerous. He looks dangerous. He looks like he's totally ready for this barbed wire steel cage match at Double or Nothing for the AEW TNT Championship. Definitely gonna love that one. I think I'm gonna order it. I think I'm gonna order it. Well, I did find out that Jim Ross, is not going to be. He was supposed to announce at Double or Nothing, but after what happened, of course, his health, it's top priority. So I don't know. I would have loved to see Jim Ross announce again. Oh God, oh God. I feel like a lucky man whenever I do. Next, we have Mariah May teaming up with the timeless Toni Storm, the AEW Women's World Champion, against Saraya and Harley Cameron, the Outcast. What I've kind of got from this match was I don't think Toni Storm is. I don't think she's a heel. I don't think she's your average ordinary heel. I don't think she's your baby face. She's kind of like stuck in the middle where like she's gonna do whatever she wants, and if you like it, cool. If you don't, then cool. Like it doesn't matter. She's gonna hit promo after promo, and like what I said before, she cuts good promos. Absolutely. This girl is on point, and when it's time that she has to let the wrestling do the talking for her, she shows up. She shows up every day. Collision, Dynamite, Rampage. It doesn't matter. Definitely, Timeless Tony Storm is this AEW's best women's wrestler by far. Definitely by far. So like I love the booking. I love the way she is right now. She hit Storm Zero, which kind of confused me because it was a pile driver, sit down pile driver, which was kind of banned in wrestling. But the way she kind of does it, she kind of like she doesn't get him up so high. She like lifts him up in the pile driving position and just kind of falls back, but mostly like kind of building momentum toward like the shift in her back as she's hitting that Storm Zero. So I don't think really the neck is in jeopardy for the other superstar, and I think generally genuinely she makes the move and she takes care of her other her opponents obviously. So they're in good hands. They're in good hands. We saw Serena Deeb come out, putting Toni Storm on notice, hit her in the face with a high heel, bro. Absolutely crazy. And you saw her put her in a single leg Boston Crab. Kind of I think she's gonna have a hurt leg. She's definitely gonna go into the match at Double or Nothing, probably with a knee brace or with a leg brace or something like that. And I hope she comes up. I hope she wins because I love the timeless Toni Storm. I think she's badass, and I like Serena Deeb too, but. She came back and all power to you. But right now, Toni Storm's she has AEW. She has the audience. She has people are gonna buy tickets. People are gonna buy merchandise that surround the name Toni Storm. Not so much Serena Deeb. I'm not trying to throw shade at Deeb because I think all these wrestlers, in Ring of Honor, Impact, AEW, NW, what WWE, whatever. So I just respect these guys, absolutely good. They go on the road most of the time in their lives, try to put on, good entertainment performances for the crowd. So, we'll never ever talk ill of a superstar and, purposefully, I guess you can say, but sometimes a little criticism doesn't necessarily mean I'm trying to be trying to be a jerk. So, but, it's good to, bring up that distinction. All right. Lastly and finally, we have Brian Danielson against Satnam Singh. And first and foremost, Daniel Bryan is not 110%. You could totally tell. You could totally tell because the whole Will Ospreay thing and Brian Danielson said himself that he was sitting on the couch. He saw what was happening. He saw what happened to Khan. He saw what happened to Kenny Omega by the Elites. And he realized he just can't sit and heal from his injuries. He has to go out there and he has to, represent AEW in such a positive way. And he has to kind of be that workhorse that AEW needs. And he said himself like he effing cares about this company so much. I feel like he really does carry the company on his back and in his heart. So I love Brian Danielson whenever he makes a good promo. It's good. It's very, very good. But ultimately, this was kind of like one of those matches where it was kind of like a setup, not really like a match on the main card. That's why whilst AEW was kind of running out of time, I kind of saw on the clock and I was like, damn, it's already I think it's 9:50 because it airs on the West Coast around 8. And I saw that and I was like, oh, great. This is going to be like a squash match. But no, it was actually a good match to cut good promos. It was, the ending was pretty badass. Definitely, appropriate heading toward Double or Nothing. You saw Santum, basically punch Daniel Bryan through the guitar, which was pretty bad. And you saw the EVPs, Jay Lethal, Jeff Jarrett, and Singh, and then the Rainmaker comes out, and Jack Perry. It looked all bad for Brian Danielson, but the man that was barred from the building, bringing a flipping flamethrower, being dropped off by the AEW president, Tony Khan, and he came out, he kicked ass. He kicked ass. I loved it how he brought the flamethrower. Definitely, I love that side of Darby Allin. He's a sick son of a biscuit. You know what I mean? I think that's what Tony Schiavone, or I think that was Taz who said that. He's like, yeah, because it's sick. I don't know. It was cool. It was a good promo. Definitely loved the way that AEW Dynamite kind of ended and went off the air. So, cool things to come for Double or Nothing. I want to buy it. I really do. $50 though, but because I'm used to watching the the WWE pay-per-views where you have it. If you have a subscription to the WWE network, well, now if you have a Peacock subscription, you can get it for free. So I don't know. It's gonna be a thinker. It's gonna be a thinker. All right, well, hey guys, don't go anywhere. We're gonna jump right into our Thursday Night Wrestling preview. We're gonna talk about Ring of Honor, Impact Wrestling. We're also gonna talk about NWA Powerr, the results from Tuesday's show. So hey, don't go anywhere.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign.
I wanna be the greatest. Everybody on the fake shit. I look around and feel like everybody is the fakest. I make this every day and I'm impatient, hoping one day I blow up from the basement. Statement, the top is so vacant. I don't hear shit that I think is amazing. Waiting for my day when I'm playing sold out shows for 1,000 faces. Hey, give me that crown, get in my way and to be put down. It ain't your place, all this my town. If I want that shit, then I'll get it right now. I'm losing it, the noose it fits, some lucid shit, a stupid myth. You choose to live or choose to dip, you choose to fight or lose your grip and lose a gift.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind?
All right, all right, all right. Welcome back to the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your boy E here with all your cool wrestling facts on a beautiful Thursday night. But just gonna reflect on what we talked about right quick. We talked about our AEW Dynamite review, and we're gonna get into my Thursday night wrestling preview. But before we move on any further than that, I want to remind you guys to use the tips and donations link at the GSMC podcast.net. Go ahead and shoot your questions on over. Shoot some statements if you want. Potential storylines, promos that you guys would love to see. Maybe some questions you guys kind of have toward me for wrestling questions, or if you want to ask what I'm doing later on tonight. After I get done with my post-production work, I'm definitely able to get like a drink of Buffalo Wild Wings. I'm just kidding though. I'm just kidding. No. But anyways, it really does help the show, guys. A little peace, love, and positivity from by the GSMC Sports Network does a body good. Like I said, shoot me your questions. This, donating is highly appreciated, and it just makes the show a hell of a lot better. Not because the tipping and the donating so much wise, but just like hearing you guys' thoughts. Interaction between the fans is definitely what I'm all about. But once again, this is ultimately this is my show, but I feel like it's our show because wrestling fans, we're a living breed, and we all gotta stick together. So once again, the link is at the GSMC podcast.net. So let's gonna jump right on into this Thursday Night Wrestling preview. So we're gonna start off with Impact Wrestling. Impact Wrestling on the road to Against All Odds. We have Speedball Mountains, Mike Bailey, and Trent Steven. They defeated ABC to earn a shot to face against each other for the #1 contendership for Mustafa Ali's X Division Championship at Against All Odds. So I thought that was, you have two tag team guys going at it. What I really hope they don't do is to tear up Speedball Mountain. Love Speedball Mountain. Absolutely. I don't know. I just like the way their tag team is. I just feel like they complement each other. They have good chemistry. So I hope this isn't a way of, Impact Wrestling writers to be like, yeah, let's break them out. Singles wrestlers push. Like sometimes you got to let tag teams be tag teams. Like you kind of like what you see with the New Day within the WWE. Like, sure, yeah, they absolutely have a singles wrestler potential, but honestly, tearing them apart would do more harm than good. So, definitely hope that goes well. After taking out Nick Nemeth, the System battle Ryan Nemeth and the Broken Matt Hardy. Can the System, with Eddie Edwards and Brian Myers, the TNA World Tag Team Title champions, survive against Matt Hardy and Ryan Nemeth, who are out for blood? They're out for revenge for his brother. Like, if I was them, I'd be like, dude, like obviously you have Matt who had Jeff Hardy, who's you're your brother's keeper. So if you don't go out there and do everything you can to like like chomp at the bit, throw him in a chair shot here or there, maybe a low blow, that'll really get to him, man. I'm just kidding, though. I'm not promoting risky behavior at work or shooting low blows and stuff. But that's not what I'm all about. I'm all about genuine wrestling, baby, all the way. But if the referee somehow is distracting you got the brass knucks. I'm just kidding. I'm moving on. Next we have Marty Belly. Marty Bell makes her return for a shot at the TNA Knockouts Championship. Kind of feel bad for Bell here. You have, the knockouts, the TNA Knockouts champion is without a doubt, the best women's wrestler on the planet right now. And I'm talking about WWE. I'm going to go ahead and go out on a limb and say she's better than Becky Lynch right now. I feel like she's better than Rhea Ripley is. I think Jordynne Grace is definitely the best women's wrestler that I've seen in a long, long time. And I know all this momentum with WrestleMania and stuff like that. Like a lot of people, when you think about like prestige women's wrestlers, a lot of people don't jump to TNA Impact right away. For me, I feel like it's that. Jordynne Grace is an amazing superstar. She's very, she's very powerful, marketable. She could grab the attention of the audience with just like just like a huge suplex. This girl suplex, I think it was Khan. Yeah, I think it was Khan when she was teaming up with PCO, and I don't know. I thought that was pretty badass. So obviously, Bell, can it be the ultimate upset of the century? Most likely not. But this title reign by Jordan Grace has been absolutely prestigious, absolutely badass, and she deserves to keep this rolling here. I don't think there could be anyone that could debut in TNA Impact that could possibly dethrone the TNA Knockouts World Champion. This girl's gonna go for like 1,000 days, bro. Right, and moving on. So we have Jody Threat looks to build momentum for her team Spitfire as she goes against Tasha Steeles. So that should be a good match. Moving on to Ring of Honor. Ring of Honor World Television Champion Kyle Fletcher, my guy. I think Kyle Fletcher is definitely super impressive. He's definitely going to be bigger than, I'm not saying that the Ring of Honor Television Championship isn't as prestigious or even or isn't that like much of an accomplishment. But I can see this guy holding the title. Maybe he fights Mark Briscoe in the future. That'd be pretty badass. So he's going to fight against London Lining in a proven ground match. Fletcher has been absolutely impressive, successfully defended his belt 5 times. He's undefeated in singles bout with 15 consecutive wins, and he has an overall record of 23-3. Next, we have Jimmy Jacobs against Santam Singh. Jacobs is a 5-time Ring of Honor World Tag Team Champion with 3 different partners. That's hard. Like, it's hard to build chemistry with someone. Imagine doing that with 3 different guys. So there's, this guy has, pretty special. He's had victories over Hangman Adam Page, Brian Danielson, Roderick Strong, Jay Lethal, and this 25-year-old veteran defeated can he defeat the 7'3" monster Santam Singh? The Ring of Honor World Tag Team Champ Mike Bennett will fight against Daddy Magic Matt Menard tonight, also on Ring of Honor. And also we see Action Andretti, Lee Johnson, and Top Flight against the premier athletes Cole Carter and Griff Garrison. Now the Rose will be in action tonight, and you also have Shane Taylor Promotions, being in competition, tag team competition tonight. And just kind of reflect, just kind of review real quick. We do have our NWA Powerr. I kind of want to start incorporating the National Wrestling Alliance into like my Thursday wrestling talk, because I like to kind of have Thursdays as kind of like days, because WWE is constantly all over the news. They're mainstream as hell. They're definitely like huge money makers. Obviously, they're under the Fox USA brand and stuff like that. So sometimes I think it's healthy. It's healthy for a wrestling fan to hear some news other than WWE. So, definitely going to be talking, especially with, because NWO is about to blow up, guys. And so make sure you buy your stock right now. They're going to be featured on the CW. Billy Corgan, the president, the head frontman of Smashing Pumpkins, he has his, Carneyland, reality show that's going to feature him as a rock star, also him as a wrestling promoter, and kind of give a lot, of interviews backstage. It's going to kind of give the audience a way to kind of get close to the superstars that we know little about, because the NWA was popular definitely before WWF blew up, definitely before the Jim Crockett Promotions became WCW. And I don't know, I just think it's exciting. I honestly like that, because the reason why I feel, and I've kind of read a couple articles that supported my argument, that a lot of reasons why the women's division in WWE got so popular was the implementation of the hit reality TV show Total Divas, where people were watching this show and they wanted to, they were buying tickets to go see these girls. Girls like, Naomi, like Natalia, like Alexa Bliss, like Nia Jax and stuff like that. Like, I think this is going to be huge for NWA. So, it's going to move on to this. Tiffany Nieves and Rebecca Tahaka defeated Ruthie J and La Rosa Negra. The Southern Six and Pretty Empowerment cut a group promo today. Joe Alonso defeated Damian Frenier. After the match, Alonso talked about, being a champion and to challenge Alex Taylor. Daisy Kill. Ooh, I love that. Daisy Kill and Talos and the Slime Balls talk about the Crockett Cup. The Crockett Cup, the prestigious, the tag team, championship kind of matchups and stuff like that. Definitely love to see that. The Crockett Cup first round, we saw Mike Knox and Trevor Murdoch defeat the Miserable Faithful, the team of Gags, the Gimp, and also Salvation. Salvation. Oh, that's kind of funny. That's kind of cool. Another Crockett Cup final. first round, you have Looks That Kill Brian Idol and Natalia Markova defeat Jax Dane and Tim Storr via DQ. So definitely, thought want to get into NWA Power a little bit more. I definitely want to, share my information with you guys because I feel like we need to spread the word. I feel like we need to spread the word, kind of keep in contact in terms of like wrestling fans and stuff like that. Like if I was gonna miss out something pretty awesome, like if anybody out there has major FOMO, you do not want to miss this NWA, power surge that's going to be, surfacing pretty quick here, pretty quick. So, hey guys, honestly, do not go anywhere. We have Logan Paul's title reign. Hey, no, that's the next one. Sorry, I apologize. We have Jim Ross being admitted to the hospital. It broke all over social media. It broke all over the professional wrestling news. So we're going to talk about my man, Jim Ross, and, what's it going to mean for his career kind of moving forward. So don't go anywhere.
Looking for your daily fix of sports talk without having to pay for it? GSMC Sports Network is available on YouTube. Just search GSMC Sports Network. Get your fix of daily sports talk shows on YouTube, absolutely free. NFL, college football, NBA, MLB, MMA, UFC, fantasy football, and so much more. GSMC Sports Network has shows running all day long, with new sports shows starting every 2 hours. Just like on your favorite cable sports channel, except GSMC Sports Network is absolutely free. Just search GSMC Sports Network on YouTube to catch one of your new favorite shows, like the GSMC College Football Podcast, Chip Shot Football Podcast, Hoops and Heels Women's Sports Podcast, GSMC Basketball Podcast, and so many more. Check it out for yourself. GSMC Sports Network, now available on YouTube absolutely free. Search GSMC Sports Network on YouTube right now.
All right. Welcome back to the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. Just to kind of reflect on what we talked about, we had our AEW Dynamite review. We also had our Thursday Night Wrestling preview, Ring of Honor, Impact Wrestling, the National Wrestling Alliance about to blow up. So definitely going to pay more attention to that moving on forward. But before we move on to our third segment, sorry. I keep wanting to move on to that fourth segment. Why do I want to talk about Logan Paul so much? I'm just kidding though. Yeah, don't forget to use the tips and donations link at the gsmcpodcast.net. Give me your questions. Give me some statements. Give me what you guys feel about maybe, some of the wrestling that's been going on, maybe that I have not touched on. Maybe there could be like something going on in like, state promo. There's a lot of state wrestling that goes around, so, I try my best to kind of keep up on everything. But ultimately, I don't. If you find someone who has who gets the best information, who's not me, stop listening to them immediately. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm not a computer. Although I wish I was. That'd be pretty cool. No, I'm just kidding. That'd be a lot of information. Probably hard to sleep at night, without, a couple glasses of wine. So, all right, moving on. So we're going to talk about Jim Ross admitted to the hospital. Definitely going to keep tabs on this. Definitely going to see if there's anything that kind of moves forward with updating his his health and stuff like that. Because I love Jim Ross. I get from the bottom of my heart, the main reason why I watched wrestling from the get-go was because of Jim Ross. Jim Ross, he made me fall in love with wrestling. So Jim Ross took to Twitter and he said, and I quote, "Expected trip to the ER in Norman this morning. Shortness of breath. That's all for now." And at his age, that's scary. And yeah, he's definitely had some, precondition. He had what is the underlying health issues to kind of begin with. I think he's had. No, I don't want to say that. I don't want to say no. I'm not going to put that bad juju in the air. Uh, so I don't know. He, God, I can't even talk about this with a straight face. That's how I'm like, I hope nothing bad happens. Oh, I pray to God. You know what? Let's take time right now, guys. We're gonna take a break from the podcast and let's all, pray for Jim Ross. Just send a prayer. Be like, if you're going to bed tonight, be like, hey, I hope Jim Ross is well. Moving on. So he's one of the most beloved, iconic voices in the wrestling world. I'll bet you a lot of you guys know about that. The voice of the Attitude Era, in my opinion, the Ruthless Aggression Era. His passion makes you fall in love with wrestling. And if you've ever kind of been in a wrestling kind of fandom, and if you ever kind of run into other wrestlers, or not wrestling fans, you kind of like, for me, I would quote Jim Ross more than I would say like, "Oh, can you smell what the Rock is cooking?" or "Austin 316 just whooped your ass." Like, no, I would honestly quote a lot of Jim Ross's favorite famous quotes more than any of the other wrestlers, which is kind of crazy. Which is kind of crazy to think about because this guy, he was a commentator. He wasn't necessarily out in the middle of the ring, doing high flying, jumps and stuff like that, throwing people on announce tables, going up tables, ladders, and chairs, etc., etc. This guy was it's just his voice. It's a powerful voice that can honestly make something as prestigious and something as successful as, like, let's just, take in consideration about, we're talking about baseball, the World Series. The World Series this year was the first World Series without John Smoltz and Joe Buck. And to be honest, it was bad. And I'm not saying it was bad because, it was between the Texas Rangers and the Arizona Diamondbacks, and I'm an Angels fan. But it was bad because you're so used to hearing Joe Buck. You're so used to hearing Joe Buck, you know, hit up in the air. Caught. Like, it's just like his voice is, like it just brings you in. And you can't help but to just be like, infatuated, intoxicated, and just like you love this guy. You love this voice. Like, if you ever can fall in love with the voice, and it's not in terms of like music or like, I remember the first time I heard the Beatles and I was like, oh, yeah, like sometimes things just click. Things just click, like Jim Ross, wrestling. Al Michaels, Sunday Night Football, not Thursday Night Football. Thursday Night Football, I think Al Michaels is like, you can kind of tell in his voice that he's like, kind of wish I was back on NBC right now. But I don't know, kind of, love Jim Ross, hope the best for him, and he's definitely, a lot of passion. And he was supposed to commentate for Double or Nothing. He was. And I was gonna buy the pay-per-view, and I don't want to sound like a jerk off, but I wanted to buy the pay-per-view mostly because I wanted to see AEW Double or Nothing, yes. But to be brutally honest, that was probably like 45% of the reason. The other reason was like, I want to hear Jim Ross speak again, dude. Like, I can't wait. And lo and behold, I didn't get that, man. We didn't get that. Hopefully, like I said, he's all, if he makes a speedy recovery, and this is a big ass maybe, like, and he makes his way back to Las Vegas, that would be the best. My birthday's on Monday. My birthday's May 27th. My birthday wish is to have Jim Ross commentate on AEW's Double or Nothing. No, I'm just kidding. No, his health is priority. Definitely hope he gets some rest. Definitely hope, he, becomes a lot, he becomes better. So yeah, his absence will be felt. It really will be felt. And I don't know, even although he did leave the WWE, he will always be probably the best to ever do it in terms of WWE. Like, just kind of flipping on, real quick about his iconic, kind of like, not, I don't want to say speeches because that's not, kind of the way they are. But like, just his, like, just think about it. The first one I kind of have here is, you had Mike Tyson being brought into the WWE, and then you had Tyson and Austin, all hell's about to break loose. Like, he made that moment more powerful than it actually was. Like, if you think about it from another retrospective, like if you're a wrestling fan, you see Mike Tyson kind of come in the ring, you're like, what the hell is this guy doing here? And like, if you're a boxer watching WWE and you see Mike Tyson in a choreographed ring, you're like, what the hell is that guy doing here? Like, Jim Ross kind of made sense of it all. Kind of like, I felt like he was, he can bring people together. And I feel like at that moment, boxing and wrestling fans became one. Like, you had the bad boy of boxing, the Iron Mike Tyson. And then you also have, Stone Cold Steve Austin, the rebel of WWF. So he was able to kind of bring those people, kind of bring those guys together, pro wrestling. This was all obviously an episode of Raw in 1998, the famous promo. Next, we have another, quote from Jim Ross: "Stone Cold, Stone Cold, Stone Cold." Like, it just echoes throughout like my ears every single time I see Stone Cold. Obviously, him and Jim Ross, they share like they actually have a friendship. Stone Cold, Steve Austin, and Jim Ross are probably the closest out of any of the wrestlers that's ever kind of been together. I would say even closer than Triple H and Shawn Michaels. I would say even closer than Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins. Obviously, Stone Cold Steve Austin, beat Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 14, beginning the Attitude Era. And at this time, Shawn Michaels also was not in a good place where he hurt his back against the casket match against The Undertaker. So he was kind of due for some time off. He was having problems, outside of the ring, in terms of substance abuse and alcohol and stuff like that. But ultimately, this was kind of like the passing of the torch, something that Vince McMahon and the WWE thought one thing about Shawn was like, sometimes they're like, okay, like, although he doesn't really do it, what we want him to do per se, he's going to go out there, bust his ass, put on a great show, night in and night out. Doesn't matter if he's in a bad mood, this and that and the other. This kind of like gave people like kind of like the reassurance. I don't know how to say it. But kind of like that comfortable feeling. If you're a WWE creative officer, you're like, man, what the F's gonna happen to us when Shawn, he's injured. So then, they kind of got Stone Cold, King of the Ring winner, put the strap on him, and bam, the rest is history. The beginning of the Austin, era, definitely, Stone Cold, Stone Cold, Stone Cold. And next we have The Undertaker and Mankind, where Jim Ross commentated that match as well, where he said, "Good God Almighty, they've killed him," and he was talking about Mankind, and everybody was in awe because what have transpired in front of them, where Mankind was thrown all the way from the top of the Hell in a Cell and landed on the commentary, was thrown through the top of the Hell in a Cell, landed inside the ring that put a dent in it. Like, it was absolutely insane. I remember watching this and I was like, dude, like, is this really? Like, I was a little kid too, so when I was a little kid, I thought things were like actually real, and I saw the Undertaker, and I was like, this devil worshiper. Just kidding, no. Like, but in all reality, even like in conversations and interviews with the Undertaker like said like when in that picture, kind of to the right. He said like he looked down and he was like he felt like in disbelief, but it was hard for him. Like he could not break character. The Undertaker, Mark Calloway, was like, I was trying so hard not to break character. I was genuinely concerned for Mick Foley's health, and well-being, and I know it's just. And then you have Jim Ross. Jim Ross is making it all come alive, baby. 110%. King of the Ring, 1998. Definitely badass call from Jim Ross. All right, next we have Stone Cold and Vince McMahon, and his famous JR's famous iconic quote: "Stone Cold is shaking hands with Satan himself." Obviously, this was kind of you see the corporate villain that you kind of see in every Marvel movie, like Obadiah Stane in the first Iron Man, or you have Kingpin from the Spider-Man series. You have not I want to say Doc Ock wouldn't be there from Spider-Man, where you just kind of have these guys that just seem like they're kind of corporate pigs, and kind of like that kind of that plot. Like I said, a lot of kind of superhero thing, kind of kind of mimics this kind of thing where you kind of have the villain, and then you have essentially you had the corporate villain and the rebel of the company join forces, and the fans were absolutely shocked. They were like jaws on the ground, like it was crazy because Stone Cold Steve Austin and Vince McMahon had a huge blurry relationship where Vince McMahon constantly he pissed himself in front of everybody. So with when he had the gun, and it was totally fake and it was totally awesome. But then also again, like Jim Ross's personal relationship with Stone Cold Steve Austin, he saw like his close best friend betray the fandom of WWE. All the Stone Cold Steve Austin fans out there were like, "What? Like, what is he doing? Like, he helped him beat The Rock at WrestleMania? Like, dude, like that's just this is ridiculous. This is too much." The reason why that moment was so important was because of Jim Ross. Another Jim Ross moment where you have, and I quote, "The $1 million princess, Stephanie McMahon, has become a Dairy Queen." When, during the invasion of 2001, Kurt Angle came out and he started spreading a whole bunch of people with milk. Obviously, Austin did it before with the corporate, with The Rock, all that, and then you saw Kurt Angle kind of pull out his like little version of it. He came out with the milk truck, and it was funny as hell. It was so love Kurt Angle and the way he kind of cut this promo. Absolutely awesome, absolutely sick as hell. And even he had another famous quote that went along with this. He said, "Milkomania is running wild." Like, that's JR. That's Jim Ross. freaking love Jim Ross, man. He's been part of wrestling for the longest time. And last, we're kind of running out of time here, so I want to, finish this up. Next we have, him talking about Triple H. Does he have no conscience? Does he have no heart? Does he have no soul? And this was hardly because like Jim Ross kind of portrayed Triple H. Triple H's run as a heel, of course, because when Triple H turned babyface, Jim Ross had a whole bunch of also iconic, speeches and, kind of comments that kind of, preluded that as well. And he kind of saw Triple H as inhuman. He saw him as the devil, using the sledgehammer to turn his back on his friend, Shawn Michaels, who took a step away from wrestling, and they challenged him at SummerSlam. And like it was just cool because of Jim Ross. Mostly because, obviously, I love Triple H and Shawn Michaels, but I would, not saying that these wrestling moments wouldn't have really meaned anything if, if it was like Michael Cole commenting or something like that. But, it would have been cool. Yeah, it would have been cool. But I think it was like 2 times or maybe 3 times or even 10 times as badass when Jim Ross, kind of did what he did, said what he said, and his voice that just drew you in as a fan. The passion, the love and respect he shares for these superstars definitely was portrayed, watching him. So, definitely love that. So, guys, don't go anywhere. Segment 4, we're going to talk about Logan Paul's title reign hits 200 days. Pretty impressive. Logan Paul is definitely the real deal in terms of wrestling, and we're going to talk about it as soon as we come back. So, hey, don't go anywhere.
For the best and latest podcasts available anywhere, go to the podcast app on your cell phone and type in GSMC to access free content-rich podcasts on health and wellness, book reviews, sports, entertainment, relationships, social media, movies, technology, finance, and even weird news. Subscribe and download the GSMC Podcast Network's family of shows, available everywhere podcasts are found.
All right. Welcome back to the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. Just kind of reflect on what we talked about real quick. We had AEW Dynamite review. We also had our Thursday Night Wrestling preview with Impact Wrestling and Ring of Honor. We also, talked about the results of NWA Powerr that was on the CW app. And then we recently talked about Jim Ross being admitted to the hospital. Hope all is well for him. Running out of time rapidly here, so let's go ahead and jump right on into our segment 4. Logan Paul, his title reign hits 200 days. Logan Paul, the YouTuber, the superstar, I think he's doing really well in WWE. A lot of people, like whenever I do some videos and stuff like that, a lot of people do comment and they're like, that fake ass like wrestler, like that WWE. Like, dude, honestly, this guy isn't fake. But you are all entitled to your opinion by all means. But this guy, you can't help but to respect this guy and basically all he's doing for the company and stuff like that. So I don't know. Logan Paul is definitely a huge star in the WWE, and he doesn't seem to be going anywhere. A lot of people thought it was kind of like a publicity stunt to kind of help WWE kind of gain more followers because he has a huge presence on social media. Obviously, his brother Jake Paul is set to fight Mike Tyson in a boxing match that may or may not kind of be like a publicity stunt in itself. But see, like, look at the way I'm talking about it. I bet a lot of people kind of from the other shoe are looking at what the Logan Paul is doing right now in the WWE, and they're like, you know what, he's not going to last. He's not going to do that. And Jake Paul, I feel like, has kind of, cemented his name and solidified his name as a genuine boxer. I know, like, these guys, like these famous YouTubers, and I feel like a lot of the times it probably could be jealousy, where people are like, man, I would have been a man boxer. Like, I'm way better than those guys. Like, and they go in their garage and start punching pumpkins and like kicking like doorknobs. I'm just kidding. But no, like I don't know. I think a lot of people don't give these brothers the the much due respects that they absolutely deserve 110%. So like I said, he's not going anywhere. He plays a great heel. It'd be interesting to kind of see him as a babyface. He was a little bit when he kind of took on the the bloodline against Roman Reigns. So I think when he first also got introduced, he played a little bit of the babyface role. I know he teamed up with The Miz, but The Miz is kind of like always forever, kind of like a heel. But no, honestly, I would feel like The Miz is like the perfect mix between a heel and kind of and a babyface. You know what I mean? He brought his amazing skills. his massive social media attraction, and just a different personality to WWE. Last year at Crown Jewel, Logan Paul defeated Rey Mysterio for the United States Championship. His time as champion, he said, and I quote, "Prime Hydration has grossed over $1.2 billion. That's a lot. That's a lot of money, man." He set to fight Cody Rhodes at the King of the Ring for the WWE Undisputed Championship. And a lot of people kind of compare him to like this generation's The Miz. Which is possible, which is true. Obviously he kind of has that Miz it factor, LA. Well, whatever, however, LA presence, although he's not from LA. But it's just, like I said before, I feel like people don't give him like a lot of the respect that he actually deserves. And I don't know, I just feel like he's kind of bringing prestige and value and attention to this United States Championship that has kind of been forever been seen as kind of like a secondary championship. There's kind of only a few, that kind of made the title kind of relevant, kind of made people think otherwise of the United States Championship. And, a couple of people that I kind of want to bring up. I kind of have a list. I have a list of people that kind of did it over 150 days. So in 150 days, we have Damian Priest. We have him at 191. We have Bobby Lashley at 175. But Bobby Lashley has won the United States Championship on, multiple occasions. You have Andrade for 150 days, Shinsuke Nakamura 163, Sheamus 182, Dolph Ziggler 181, Daniel Bryan at 176. And, kind of moving on to people who have broke that 200 mark. You have, of course, Austin Theory at 257 days. But I kind of feel like that was kind of compensation for like, hey, like, I know you were brought in from Vince to be like, you're the next guy. You're Vince's next guy. And then kind of stuff happened to Vince and they're like, oh, dude, sorry. Like, what can we say? You can be the United States champion. If you want, we won't let you cash in successfully. But you can be the United States champion. You little go-getter, you. You are the best, don't you know? Austin Theory's the best. No, I'm just saying. But part of me said maybe that was like a little compensation for, kind of Vince dipping out. And Triple H was like, you know what? Yeah, dude, you win the champion. You're the United States champion. But you also see Dean Ambrose. He held the title for 350 days. You had Cesaro, 239. The Miz at 223. Shelton Benjamin at 242. Chris Benoit at 218. Rick Rude at 377. Lex Luthor, who's holding, like, going back. He held it for 209. And he also had a reign of 552. But that was, like, way back when. But I'm not saying that their accomplishments or their accolades doesn't really matter. But I don't know, just and also guys that has held on to the title include names like Jimmy Superfly Snuka, Roddy Piper, Ric Flair, Sting, and Sergeant Slaughter. So honestly, a lot of famous names, a lot of names that you kind of realize that these guys did become WWE legends. These guys definitely were featured in WrestleMania main events, SummerSlam main events, Survivor Series, Royal Rumble, you name it. I definitely think Logan Paul is definitely the real deal. I'm not saying that he's going to be a future Hall of Famer, but with the, hitting 200 days, it's a good start. It's a good start. Definitely love that for him. I, absolutely love the fact that he is, he's a true champion. He's a true WWE superstar. So haters going to hate, but ultimately you can't help but to respect him. So, yeah. So we're kind of running out of time. I got about 5 more minutes before you have my man Emran on for the soccer podcast. Make sure you stay tuned for that. But we have our Thursday night superstar spotlight. We're going to talk about the Olympic gold medalist, Kurt Angle. So, hey, don't go anywhere. All right, all right, all right. Welcome back to the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. Just to talk about what we talked about real quick, just to talk about what we talked this unfunny. No, move on, Eric. We have AEW Dynamite review. We talked about our Thursday Night Wrestling preview. We talked about Jim Ross being admitted to the hospital. We also talked about how Logan Paul is not yet in the future Hall of Famer, kind of category yet, but with the title reign he has, he's hit 200 days. It definitely could be a future, could be a future thought. So, let's go ahead and jump on into our fifth and final segment. And I swear to God, I'll leave you guys alone. Why do I like going overtime? I like talking to you guys, man. I know my show has a set schedule, and some of you guys might be looking forward to, hearing the soccer podcast and get this guy out of here. No, but I don't know. I just have too much fun, I guess you can say. No, I need to start cutting my time down a little bit more. I'm going overtime here, but much like when you're rooting in football, you're like, I'm rooting for an overtime game. I hope you wrestling fans are out there. They're like, oh, I'm rooting for an overtime show with Eric. No, I'm just kidding. No, if you don't, it won't hurt my feelings. So we'll move on. So our superstar spotlight, our Thursday superstar spotlight, is Kurt Angle, the Olympic gold medalist. Born December 9th, 1968. Trent Steven Angle, he was a gold medalist in a freestyle wrestling at the 1996 Olympics. He's from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. He's a two-time NCAA Division I wrestling champ in the heavyweight division. He's also the top 15 college wrestlers of all time. Look it up on the computer. You will find it. Because I was kind of intrigued, so I was like, no freaking way. So I looked it up and I was like, he was inducted into the International Sports Hall of Fame. He's also a WWE Hall of Famer and a TNA Hall of Famer. Probably definitely the first wrestler to kind of accomplish that. In 1998, he signed with WWF, worked a whole bunch of dark matches for months, ultimately making it onto the main card on, I think SmackDown was his first main card. In 2000, he got a push. He won the European Championship and the Intercontinental Championship at the same time. Definitely impressive. 2000, he became the King of the Ring. So those who are watching the King of the Ring right now in WWE, this could do wonders for your career. Actually, I read an article that said, whoever wins the King and Queen of the Ring will solidify their chance at a title shot at SummerSlam. Yes. Love that. Paul Levesque, once again, strikes again. Definitely think, I definitely, I don't want to take credit for something someone else did, but I'm going to anyways. No, I'm just kidding. No, I kind of thought that should have been how it's been for the longest time. I don't know why it wasn't like that. You should have wrote an angry letter and be like, dude, if you ever bring this into the light, remember, I thought of it first. You gotta give me $1 million, man. I'm sorry, but just for compensation, I'm thinking for you. I developed this idea first. Give me my money. I'm just kidding. I'm not in it for the money. No. A Ferrari would be nice. I'm just kidding. Anyways, moving on. He signed with the WWE in 1998. He's a WWE champion, 4-time WWE champion. He's a WCW champion. He's a World Heavyweight champion. He's a TNA champion, TNA Triple Crown, and he's also, the IWCP champion too. New Japan Wrestling, TNA Hall. This guy's is probably the most decorated wrestler in Olympic wrestling, college wrestling, professional wrestling, amateur wrestling. Kurt Angle is probably the best wrestler in the world, on the planet. I would love, in the universe, go and find an alien on Mars that could fight Kurt Angle. He probably couldn't, to be honest. If we ever engage in, interspecies, galactic warfare, I'm telling Kurt Angle to leave my army. I'm sorry, 110%. He's gonna be my Han Solo. He's gonna be Chewbacca. I'm just kidding. But like I said, he's accomplished it all. April 11th, 2003, Kurt Angle he underwent neck surgery, and in 2006, he ultimately asked his release of the WWE because he was severely injured. And his promise toward TNA is they matched his contract with the WWE and told him essentially that he will not have to wrestle as much as he did. So that kind of, kind of buttered it up a little bit. But I know, like, the reason why he left WWE, the real reason why he left WWE was because WWE wanted him to kind of go to rehab, but Kurt Angle was still in kind of denial about his addictions to painkillers and like alcohol and stuff like that. So he kind of shimmied out of there. And he's like, you know what, I know what I want to do. I want to be a wrestler. I want to do what I love the most. And he went to TNA and he absolutely kicked ass. He debuted in TNA 2006. Like I said before, he did not wrestle as much. He did fight Samoa Joe on occasion, the Monster Abyss, AJ Styles, Sting, Jeff Jarrett, and Christian Cage. And of course, other names, like Jay Lethal, Christopher Daniels, kind of moved on from that. And in 2014, he was appointed the executive director of wrestling operations for Total Nonstop Action, Impact Wrestling. And, he did announcing for TNA for a little bit, actually, as well. He returned to the WWE for as a GM for Monday Night Raw. And like I said before, it's kind of crazy how he kind of, you have Kurt Angle. You have Kurt Angle, the wrestler, but Kurt Angle, the overall man, is definitely someone to also kind of be inspired by, because addiction isn't hard to just, it's not that easy to just kick a habit to the side. A lot of people, like, I've never, like, been addicted to like really anything except for this podcast, but no, no, but like it's hard to kind of kick an addiction, like, you know what I mean? So Kurt Angle kind of doing what he had to do. He's been sober for over 10 years now, which is absolutely awesome. This guy was taking, and he said in an interview he used to take 65 Vicodins a day. I don't know if anybody's taken Vicodin before, but I don't think he'd be alive. Just kidding. No, 65 Vicodins. He's had 4 DUIs. And it finally took his wife to tell, hey, like, after the 4th DUI, like, it's, you kind of have to shape up, man. And after his 4th DUI, so that was enough, checked himself into a rehab center. Lo and behold, now we have Kurt Angle, sober for years, the Olympic gold medalist, still someone we love, near and dear all the time, and respect. So, definitely love Kurt Angle as a wrestler, as a persona, as a father, as a husband, and just he's an amazing, just overall human being. So definitely, Kurt Angle deserves this Thursday night superstar spotlight. Congratulations, buddy! You made it to the GSMC Wrestling Laureate Thursday night superstar spotlight. Probably the best, accolade or accomplishment you've ever had. I'm just kidding. That was conceited. I'm just kidding. But yeah. Anyways, so hey guys, I hope you guys enjoyed my show. If you watched it for the first time, hope I didn't bore you guys way too much. Hope you guys haven't changed the channel yet or looked up funny dog videos on YouTube or something like that. But yeah, so thank you for tuning into the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast presented by the GSMC Sports Network. Your support means a lot to us, so please remember to Superman punch that like and subscribe button to the show. Leave a positive review. Tell me how much you love this face. Tell me how much you want me to get another haircut. Tell me how red my shirt is. No, I'm just kidding now. That'd be so mean. I'm just kidding. Anyways, but it really does make a difference, guys. Here at the GSMC Sports Network, we love peace, love, and positivity all the way, 1010%. We also invite you guys to follow us on Twitter/X, Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram for more content and updates. Like I said before, if I have not made you a wrestling fan by now, the NBA playoffs are heating up. We have my boy Nelson on the basketball podcast. We have just sports with the TJ, Jeremy. We have the Chip Shot Football podcast with Manny. We have Kenneth, my boy, my fellow New York Giants fan on football. We have Samantha with Hoops and Heels, all your one-stop shop for women's wrestling, for women's sports. She probably should talk about women's wrestling. Maybe I should, send her a memo about that. We also have the Andrew Tate show as well. So we just have a lot of shows, guys. So make sure you check this out. Be a part of this GSMC Sports, bloodline, and it's absolutely free. It's not like ESPN or it's not like Fox Sports where you got to pay for it. You got to, when you try to sign in to look for content and stuff like that, it's like, oh, we need your internet provider, this and the other. No, this is absolutely 110% free. The best things in life are free. I don't know who sings that song, but I heard it the other day and I was like, damn, I gotta sing that on my podcast. And once when I actually did, I actually regret it. I'm just kidding. I feel sorry for you guys. I know. Just if you're all on the East Coast right now, it's like 12 o'clock at night. Oh my God, it's 12 o'clock at night. You guys got to go to bed. You guys got work tomorrow. So I'm going to leave you here. Thank you for tuning into my show once again. And hey, sleep well. Have a phenomenal night. And I'll see you guys on a fantastic Friday.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day. Yeah, I'm tired of shit, and the coffee ain't hit yet, damn, ain't that great. I don't wanna go to work.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's